I've been streaming on Twitch for over 5 years, and I feel like I've seen pretty much every variety of first-time chatter out there. But not once did I come across a chatter that tried to recruit me into a cult. And I do not mean the cult of Christianity, while that has happened at least a couple times. I'm talking about the cult of immortality, whatever that means. So naturally, me and the rest of my chat had to pick his brain a little bit. I don't want to spoil it, you'll see. Do you ever ask yourself whether or not the things you think matter actually matter? You know, I don't actively think about that often, Tibbs, but what I will say, what matters to you matter. Dogging on other people for what matters to them is f***ed up and stupid, and I'd punch you in the face for that. But they matter to you, and that's all that matters. Exactly. Let's see. So what if someone has unhealthy obsessions and thinks there's nothing wrong because they simply see it as what matters to them? Are you saying that people can't be mistaken how their brains interpret what matters? No, I'm not saying that. Yeah, as long as something isn't ruining your life or others' lives, then who cares? But also, I think, Tibbs, that this is an example of bean soup. One's in chat if you know what the fuck I mean when I say the bean soup. In that, if it doesn't apply to your unique situation where someone is obviously mentally unbalanced, obviously that's a different story. What does that mean? So, bean soup was a TikTok from a few years ago. Some girl was making this really awesome recipe video for a bean soup to make when you're on your period, because it helps you replenish your iron, and it has a bunch of nice nutrients in it. It's a bean soup, okay? It has a bunch of beans in it, there's a bunch of stuff. And people started commenting like, oh, but what if I don't like beans? Then don't make the soup. What are you talking about? Don't make the soup if you don't like beans. Yeah, Tibbs, I see what you're saying. I do very much see what you're saying. I think that there are a lot of instances of people, especially in this online age, who are not in control of a lot of things that are going on in their lives. And thus, they choose to heavily emotionally and mentally invest themselves into topics, into fandoms, into their job, and makes it the most important thing in the world to them. No, I'm not subtweeting. I'm like actually genuinely not subtweeting anybody right now. I say this as someone who used to like be unhealthily obsessed with a lot of things. But I can understand like having people you care about in your life and seeing them from the outside having the wrong priorities. Is that kind of what you're saying, Tibbs? I think it's not just inherently people should examine their own life more. I think that human interaction is important. Allowing yourself to interact and experience more in your life puts more things into perspective. How are you going to improve your priorities without doing any sort of self-examination reflection? That's true. I think society could use a lot more self-reflection. You know what'd be so cool is if like therapy was consistently funded by insurance. And if more people like had insurance. The line between living a healthy life and bone smashing with this line of thinking is thin. Yeah, I think society as a whole could use a lot more self-reflection, but it's hard to make these very generalized statements. People need to do this. People need to stop doing this, you know? I feel like we need to think about why people end up with such mixed up priorities. It's a very modern idea to be constantly self-improving. Well, yes, we need to get better. Oh yeah, we don't need to hyper-optimize everything all the time. Like, man, I just want a beer on the weekend. That's also a very good point. I do think that's a big thing with today's day and age. Yeah, that's capitalism, baby. I feel weird when I am spending time not making money, you know? A lot of people feel like they need to be productive 24/7 or else they're fucking useless. But I've come to realize that with the way that my brain works, I need my rest time. I need to be able to bed rot and like reset my brain to be able to go 200% creative mode, doing the things that fulfills me as a person, you know? Does the concept of death ever terrify you? My mentality on death is very similar to many other things in life, which is stop stressing out about the shit that is out of your control. Like, I don't know if there's fucking life after death. Yeah, my life motto is it'll either work out or won't be my problem anymore. Do what you can to positively influence and affect what you're able to. I want to leave this earth having done more positive than negative. I know I've done some negative. I don't know if it's like good play style, but like, I want my negative, my positive to even out to a total positive. Don't let death ruin your life, but also don't shut up the possibility of beating it. If anti-aging doesn't come in our lifetime, we should get cryogenically frozen so we could come back in the future. I'm learning a lot about you. Death does give life meaning. I think that unless you yourself are actively in the science of like learning to cryogenically freeze someone. And unless you have bajillions of dollars to invest in that tech, why are you so concerned with it? You know, do some research, take some supplements, like, you know, do whatever. I feel like there are so many people who bring those types of things. There's a lot of variety in this sphere, but like, people bring stuff very far. The only people actively talking about immortality right now are Xi Jinping, Putin, and Trump. And I feel like there's like health influencers, you know? Yeah, but also, yeah, what Sikul says, what the fuck are you talking about? Tibbs. I don't think we need to be concerning ourselves with the hypothetical of immortality. The hypothetical that is down the line that's definitely only going to be reserved for like it's like fucking space travel, man. Like, we ain't getting selected to be on the ship on the fucking 100. There are a lot of cryo companies and it's not $1 billion. Getting frozen isn't a guarantee you'll come back. A lot can go wrong. It's better than rotting in the ground and being gone forever. You could say we don't know if there's life after death, but based on everything we know about the universe, there's very good chance that there's no afterlife. It seems like you have other things that are affecting your mental state about not feeling fulfilled in this life. Does that make sense? Who wants to live forever? Why would you want to live a finite amount of time? You think you'll be bored? Like the future won't have solutions to problems like boredom? I am fine with living a finite amount of time because that's what being human is. And I'm not trying to like play God. Yeah, and also, why do you care if you're gonna rot in the ground? Why does that matter to you if you're dead? Yeah, I live forever so I can increase shareholder value, baby. Let's fucking go. Is this person a Fallout character? No, because I'm thinking about one of the fucking managers that gets cryogenically frozen and like woken up in the middle of the show. It's like worrying about the end of the universe. What do you think is gonna hurt more if you're fucking immortal? Wait, also, getting cryogenically frozen and woken up at a later point doesn't make you immortal. It just makes you more delicate and alive 100 years from now. A few thousand years ago, if you asked people if they wanted to live to 80, they'd say, nah, that's too long. 30 is a good long life. But if you ask someone today if 30 is a good long life, they say, no, it's too short and 80 is good. In the not so far future, people say something like 80 is too short and 150 is a good long life. It's all arbitrary. It's all people saying that whatever the average lifespan of their lifetime is, just happens to be a good long life. People are a product of their time. The idea is that you can come back in the future when they have anti-aging tech and immortality. Wait, so I shouldn't trust Vault-Tec to freeze me? Yeah, like, what kind of super dementia is waiting for you at 200 years old? Yeah, watch out. You'll wake up just in time to see Vault-Tec shoot your fucking husband and your child. Or take your child. That's the plot of Fallout 4. Yeah, you're not gonna live forever, but you are wasting your time pondering a hypothetical. You know? Yeah, human body and psyche are not meant to last forever. Actually, you know what? Okay, scratch that. Chat, you know what I feel like Tibbs would enjoy? You know what I think Tibbs would enjoy? You know what I feel like is your ideal scenario? Fallout Robobrain. Alive forever, able to think and feel, or maybe not feel, but think. The fucking actors in that one vault who got turned into a brain in a machine. I feel like that's like the ideal. I fucking hate that. No, exactly. How am I supposed to smoke weed like that? How are you supposed to smoke weed if you're dead? If you're immortal, you can smoke weed for eternity. Get your brain modified to feel the effect of weed all the time without the things like reduced reaction time. See, that just sounds like terrifying. Yeah, feeling anything 100% of the time means you feel it 0%. You gotta have ups or you gotta have downs to feel what an up is. I feel like that's not the most eloquent way of saying that, but you know. I mean, yeah, I feel like so much of this technology, while it seems like it's like vaguely close, I feel like you are getting very invested and emotionally involved and emotionally invested in something that does not materially currently matter. And, you know, spending all of this time and effort and energy laying in bed at night thinking about being immortal, thinking about being able to survive forever and, you know, experience what technology is going to be like 100 years from now is cutting into the time that you have now to live your life. And if we get to a point where what you hope happens doesn't happen, you're gonna feel real bad about wasting the time you did have. Have you considered that maybe you and others aren't truly okay with death and it's just that most people's brains shut it out emotionally? Yeah. But also, why does that matter? Everything dies. If brain wasn't shutting out emotionally, you'd have much more context to work with decisions for. If you felt the terror of death, you'd want to get frozen when you die, even if it's low odds of coming back. No, it's not like that. I don't feel terror, I feel malaise. But the moment that your brain ceases to function, nothing matters because you can't experience any of it. So honestly, like, why worry about it? I want to make sure I live my life the way that makes me the happiest. And I don't mean that in an evil, me kind of way. you know, because I like doing good. Doing good makes me happy. But that's the thing, Tibbs, is that you're not gonna know what nothing is because you were nothing. Yeah, were you scared to be born? Were you scared to be born? Or was that a new experience? And we don't know. We don't know what happens after death. We might just like real fast just wake up in the fucking body of a newborn dog, you know? Would you want to be a dog with an owner that has those like buttons? The fucking buttons that like teach you, that like let you use words? That shit terrifies me, actually. You need to exist and have good experiences. Yeah, and if you don't exist, that doesn't mean you gotta have bad experiences. It just means that you don't experience because you are not a thing. You don't exist. Your body exists. Your body is not you. Your body is just a physical mass of flesh and electricity and bones. You know, bones are in there too. You can spend your entire life trying to prevent death, but if that doesn't happen, was it worth it? Yeah, are you just scared that you won't have a good enough life before you die? And you don't feel like you're gonna be able to do that, so you're hard focused on the possibility of being able to do more past the lifespan of everybody you know and love. Or maybe the everyone that you know and don't love. Yeah, you spend your entire time worrying about death, so your life is less enjoyable, causing you more stress right now, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna make like a weird comparison here, but I was like talking to someone recently about like wanting to achieve more, trying to build up my online bullshit, and just thinking about like wanting to be Twitch partner, wanting to hit that fuck ass 75 average. I know it will happen at some point, hopefully. If I continue to stream, if I continue to live my life, I know it'll happen. But stressing out and doing a partner push is gonna stress me out so much for the possibility of hitting partner in a time span that I like, you know? Best life possible, and I died at 100. I want to exist as long as I can. I'd rather go for immortality and stress about it a lot than live a normal life and shut it out than just go away forever. Okay, my follow-up question to that is then, Tibbs, do you think that that is a unique you thing? That you uniquely, obviously you're not the only person in the world that feels like that, but like, yeah, see previous therapy post. Yeah, I'd say go to therapy, but also, are you confused why other people don't feel the way you do? Yeah, go to therapy because it's good. Don't go to therapy because people say you're insane, but you could also do both. I think my brain doesn't shut out death in the way that other people's brains do. I understand exactly why they do. Okay, I think my brain is on an emotional level grasping the concept of being gone forever, and the terror response to that is natural. It's pretty common for people to feel terror about death once in a while. I think that's our brain just getting a better sense of being gone forever. I don't disagree with that. It just feels like it's a lot for you specifically. Like, it doesn't seem like this is a once in a while thought for you. I've been doing that for a while. My therapist agrees. People shut death out and says she can't think about it too much after everything I said about it, which was a ton, because she starts getting super terrified and has to shut it out. That vaguely sounds like your therapist is not very well equipped to discuss that school of thinking. I'll say that. What if it's right? What is right and what is wrong? What if what is important to you is what you experience and what you feel? Sometimes I don't even trust the way that I feel. What is a death coach? Is that a thing? I don't know if I've heard that phrase ever. That sounds like it would be something that would be helpful. Oh, interesting. You know what? Honestly, that's a really good suggestion. I feel like, you know, someone whose job that is, I feel like would, like, you could ask if you could, like, have sessions with someone. This is not a situation where I'm having emotions that I wish I didn't have. Like when someone has anxiety and just wishes they could stop worrying, it's not like that at all. I think the way my brain perceives death is more accurate, and I'm lucky to have the proper motivation to try and avoid it. If that is the case, then I'll just say, live your life the way that you fucking want to. Other people are going to avoid the concept of death because it makes them anxious, and they're gonna do their best to live the lives that they're able to with what they have, with the hand they've been dealt in life. And if you are in a position to spend a bunch of money on Kickstarters to get cryogenically frozen and, you know, get revived into a fucking robo-butt in 200 years, go for it. Did you say robot? I mean, yeah, what if you want to be like a big fat robo-ass? Forever. Forever and ever. I could have an 8-inch robocock? Bro, you should try playing Cyberpunk. I heard that you could do that in that game. And also, if you try hard enough, maybe you can have that in real life. 200% sold on the robot body now. I mean, you can choose what assets you got in your robussy, okay? Ribbed for everybody's pleasure. Anyways, cheers.